Welcome everyone to the Town of Greater Napanee Committee Adjustment for the 10th day of February 2026. We apologize. We had a lengthy in-camera meeting, so we apologize for getting started late, but here we are. So welcome. We'll call the meeting to order. Look for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Davey. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, look for a motion for the adoption of the minutes for the Committee of Adjustment for the 27th day of January 2026. Moved by Deputy Mayor Calver, seconded by Councillor Martin. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Land severance applications. We don't have any. We do have a minor variance application, file number PLVAR 2025-078. Address is 19/21 Dundas Street East. Roll number 1121040010063000. The owner is 17083-874 Canada Inc. And the applicant is Shah. And is there anyone in the body of the council chambers to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, go ahead, Mr. Knapp.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. So I will begin this evening by providing a quick presentation for the application. The subject land shown here on the slide in red are on the north side of Dundas Street East in the downtown core of the town. It's in the central part of a block of commercial and mixed-use buildings. These buildings are typically with commercial uses along the street and residential uses in the upper stories in the rear. Site is zoned general commercial C3 and is designated central business area through the town official plan. Slide's not clicking over. So I will just continue the presentation and hopefully there we are. So the intent of the application, this is just a schematic of the preliminary floor plan. So the application seeking to establish two, I'm going to call them micro units, being under 360 square feet per at the rear of the existing building. This is going to trigger requirements for an apartment, even though it's only two additional residential units within the building. So for a total of 6 will occur. This then results for relief needed for the parking on site. So they are requesting to be permitted a minimum of 3 parking spaces to be the new zone provision, as well as a reduction in the required minimum amenity area to 29 square meters. This slide just further reinforces the intent of the application and the zone provisions and relief requested through the application. No comments were received by the public for the application. The Community Conservation had no objection, and town staff noted no concerns with the proposal. Our recommendation this evening is to approve the minor variance, which meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act, and I'm available for questions or comments. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Natton. Is there any questions or comments? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Calver.
Thank you, through your worship. So our bylaws state that it was 1.5 parking spaces per dwelling, which is 9. They want to reduce it down to 3. That's not a minor variance. That's a huge variance. What's going to happen when they require more parking? Where are the other people going to park? It's just my question. I mean, parking downtown is already at a prime. There's a lot less of it anymore, especially with handing out more and more of the outdoor patios, that sort of thing. So, I mean, parking, where are they going to park? You're going to have possibility of 9 to 14 people living there. I'm just trying to figure out where they're going to park. I mean, eventually somewhere we got to figure this out. And that's not a minor variance in my opinion. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Calver. Was there a response or no? Are you good?
Sure. And thank you through you and for the comments. There are 2 things. So with the minor variance, like I do understand when we look at it just from a numeric perspective, it does seem like a lot of a variance going from 9 to 3. The tests under the Planning Act don't make it a mathematical calculation. We're really looking at what the outcome is. Currently, there's 4 units that operate with 3 designated parking spaces on site. So however that works, it functions in perpetuity now. The additional units are of a size that when we look at what they're probably going to be rented for, being 350 square feet and 330, give or take, those are going to be attainable housing units in this area. It's logical that people who live there, it's going to be a 1-bedroom. These could be tenants that qualify to not have vehicles. Being right on Dundas Street, this is providing housing that could be attainable and could serve the local employment. People who work at Tim Hortons or a cafe, baristas could afford residential units of this size and scale. Looking at that, we looked at the general impact and believe that it's appropriate for the site.
So they don't go north of Napanee to go grocery shopping then?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Culver. Thank you, Mr. Nanton. Is there any other questions? Councillor Martin.
David, with the New Homes Built Faster Act that the province initiated, does that restrict us to, can we actually deny some of these parking restrictions?
Thank you for the question and through you. The provincial legislation, as I understand it, doesn't restrict the committee from denying the proposal that's in front of you this evening for requesting relief for parking. At a broader scale, we are working with a bit of incomplete data from a staffing perspective. So we're working with on a site-by-site assessment as opposed to more of a cumulative assessment in terms of what is the downtown parking in terms of existing versus coming supply. This site in particular does benefit from having surface parking areas to the west and south. So there could be arrangements pursued, say if a tenant was coming in with a vehicle, one, it'd naturally be listed without a parking space. So they'd know they'd have to find parking off-site through a different agreement or arrangement. I understand holistically protecting parking for the commercial uses downtown is paramount, very important. Permitting 2 micro-sized units in the existing mixed-use building, I don't think is moving the needle. I think it is appropriate for this particular building, but it might not be staff might not have the same recommendation of support for a different proposal that's similar in a different location of town, even the downtown area, if that helps.
I think everybody wants more housing, and sometimes infilling is the way to go with it. So I was just curious whether the provincial bill affected how we made our decision here. That's all. Thank you. That's good.
Thanks, Councillor Martin. Is there anything else? Seeing none, just quickly, and to follow up on Deputy Mayor Culver's concerns. Obviously I have some current concerns as well with respect to the parking issue. As we look out our south window here, we can see that building, and there's a building in between us, which we're going to hear later this evening, has been sold. It's going to get back into the public realm. It's used quite frequently because it is a Town of Greater Napanee parking lot, for better lack of a word, which may not be available in the not too distant future. We have in the past seen where prior to these things happening, the owners of the building have worked out lease agreements with people that own public parking lots or own space in the downtown area. Have we considered that with respect to this, or should we consider that?
Thank you for the comments and through you. The typical threshold that we would use to try and incorporate such an agreement or, kind of make sure that these agreements are being executed would be through site plan control or a subsequent development agreement. This particular development won't hit the threshold, so we can't require site plan because it's under the unit count for the residential count. We haven't engaged with the owner about entering into a development agreement to ask them to secure such agreements for offsite parking for future tenants. If that's the will of the committee and council, an option would be to potentially defer the application and request such conversations and commitments be obtained from the applicant, but those haven't been engaged by staff.
Great, thanks, Dave. We've got to be so cautious with the growth that's happening, and obviously the land isn't growing. So we're putting more people in the downtown area, but we're not providing any more parking, and it's become a minimum or a premium at this point already. So I think we just have to be very cautious that when we authorize these types of things, that there should really be some form of a backup plan that folks won't just be parking on the street, I guess. That's all I have. Is there anything else the council has, or is there any questions that come out of what I had to say? Go ahead, Councillor Shane.
So do you want to table this and secure some other parking?
We've done that in the past. Would it be, yep, go ahead, Dave.
Sorry, it did dawn on me that what could be, as opposed to deferring, a condition can be imposed on a minor variance. So a condition can be imposed by the committee and council this evening, requiring that the owner enter into a development agreement to the effect of securing offsite parking to the satisfaction of the town, and then it'd be up to staff to ensure that such an agreement is demonstrated, provided to us within a 2-year window, if that's the direction of council this evening.
Yep, I think that that's the most streamlined way of doing it. So do you need that by way of motion or and if you do, Councillor Shank is going to move that.
Yeah, I'll move that as conditional from what everybody said. Yeah.
Great, seconded by Deputy Mayor Cower. Perfect. Is there anything else before we call for the vote? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, it's on the floor. Opposed, motion's carried. Next matter is file number PLVAR 2026-002, 9536 County Road 2, 1121-060-010-05401. Owners J. Douglas and the applicant is J. Douglas. And is there anyone here in the body of the council chambers that wishes to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, Mr. Nanton, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. Moving directly into the presentation for the application. The site shown on this slide in red is on the south side of County Road 2. The area on the south side of County Road 2 is characterized by shoreline residential, and on the north side is primarily rural residential uses and rural uses. The site is zoned rural residential and designated shoreline residential through the town official plan. The application was brought forward to request relief for an existing gazebo that's situated too close to the water and is slightly over the maximum size as per the general provisions of the zoning bylaws. So the application's been submitted to permit a 14 square meter gazebo to be approximately 10 meters, a minimum of 10 meters from the high water mark. These measurements were taken by staff through field site visits, and it's been determined that's an appropriate distance without any natural hazards or concerns that way. With respect to technical comments received, Quinte Conservation had no objections to the application. They noted no permits were required for the structure for them. There were public comments received from a neighbor that specifically referenced seeking to ensure that the gazebo maintained a 1.2 meter, 4-foot setback from the interior, the shared side lot line, and that be maintained. And again, staff completed a site visit and I found the proposal to be appropriate. The lands are, it's an open sided gazebo. You can see in and out of it from the water. It's not going to have too much of an impact. Our recommendation this evening is to support and approve the variances requested as the application meets the 4 tests of a minor variance, and I'm available for questions or comments. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dave. Is there any questions or comments with respect to this application? Deputy Mayor Cower.
Thank you through your worship. And thank you for your response back to the email. It was greatly appreciated. It added a little more clarity, but still at some point we need to put a kibosh on, let's do it first, ask for forgiveness. But after, your response to the email today, I appreciate that. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Deputy Mayor Calvert. Councillor Davey.
Thank you. Yes, through you. It's a prefab gazebo you'd buy from Canadian Tire or something to that effect. Like, it can be shifted, but it's situated on pea stone. So it's a slightly improved area. So they're hoping it can stay where it is. And I think it's an appropriate location.
Great, thanks, thanks, Sean. Deputy Mayor Calvert.
Just one more thing as well. Just to verify, this didn't come from the IBI guy, correct? This was generated from a whole different method. A lot of chatter about that and what we're doing and not doing right, and that just sometimes gets a little bit ridiculous. So I just want to clarify that the IBI guy had nothing to do with this. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Brian. Is there anything further? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation the committee receive for information the staff report for application PLVAR 2026-002 and further that the application for 9536 County Road 2 requesting the following variance be approved, section 4.11.B.I or sub I, requirement the maximum size gazebo of 10 square meters, set back a minimum of 15 meters from the high water mark. Relief requested as to permit a 14 square meter gazebo to be located 10 meters from the high water mark. Moved by Deputy Mayor Calver, second by Councillor Martin. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed, motion is carried on motion. Sorry, Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Through your worship, if we could just return to the previous application, just seeking a point of clarification on the previous motion passed by council. We may be looking for just a motion to amend that for clarity. With the subject to requirement to obtain offsite parking agreement, is that just for 2 stalls for 2 micro units? In which case it is still a minor variance, or are you requiring them to bring the property, which is currently existing non-conforming, up to full zoning compliance standards, in which case you are effectively denying that application? Just to make that really clear. Are they only needing 2 more spots that they need to find the agreement for?
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Calver.
Thank you, through your worship. I believe it's been working now the way it is. So if they had added 2 more parking spots, they're still non-conforming, but the fact that it's non-conforming now and has been working, I think that would be exceptional.
Thanks. So if we could just get a motion to amend the previous resolution to clarify that it is for 2 additional parking stalls, that would be fantastic.
We need the mover and the seconder to amend that then, Madam Clerk. And that was Councillor Davey and Councillor Shank. Am I right there? Or my memory not that good? Go ahead, Mike.
What I was saying is what David said, that in your site you have 3 parking spots, correct? And there's possibly went from 9 to 3. So it was conditionally approved that he would outsource to somewhere another location somewhere else, that he could facilitate enough parking if needed. All right, and prove that back to our planning department. And that was my gist of my motion, that it was done. I agreed with the 3 parking spots, the way it configures and the square footage of all that. Is just that if those other units had to have a vehicle, that we're just protecting the downtown and our parking, that they would secure that. All right, for this, what they're applying for.
Yeah, and so I think what I'm hearing is that we're looking to, if they should have 2 more parking spots. And so that's what I think Madam Clerk said is the amendment, is that we're looking for 2 more parking spots for the 2 new units. Am I correct there?
Yes, and through you, that's correct.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, and who was Mike and Sean were the movers and seconders on that, Madam Clerk? Oh, sorry, Mike and Brian. And you're both good with the friendly amendment to the motion? And if you are, then we'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion that's on the floor. Opposed, motion is carried. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And we're ready to adjourn now, are we? Yep. Yeah, I think we got that. Yep. So if we just look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Martin, second by Councillor Deputy Mayor Calver. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion. Opposed, motion is carried. Thanks, folks. I'll see you in the back in about 5 minutes for a regular session of council.